We're going to learn how to pick up stitches for the sleeve on the cardigan. In this example, we're using children's size cardigan so that you can see it better. So first find your middle and then line the stitches up. You're going to want to count same number on each side. So depending on what your pattern calls for, depending on the style and size that you're making. So for most patterns, it's going to be an even number, and you're just going every other row. So those bumps indicate every other row. So it's not every row, every other row. So you count the number that you need. Okay, then insert the needle. Let's say, for example, it says count 14 on each side or count 11 on each side, whatever your pattern calls for. So insert the needle. What you can do here, just for extra security, tie a little knot. You can untie it later when you weave in your ends. This way it stays secure and doesn't come out. And then you just start picking up. Make sure to always do it clockwise. You have to do it in the clockwise direction. So insert the needle, yarn over, and then you just keep going all the way around, and you're picking up every other row. So it's pretty easy because you're just going to go into every little bump. So you see here, okay, in, yarn over, find the next one, in, yarn over, so essentially you're just casting on for the sleeve. So picking up or casting on. So in, yarn over. This is a good alternative to knitting sleeves separately. Another way would be to knit your sleeve separately and then stitch it to the garment, which we don't like to do it that way. The way we're showing here is a preferred way to do it because this way you don't really have a seam and it looks nice and clean and it's very secure and you don't have to do any stitching. So you just keep going all the way. In, yarn over. If you were to insert the needle into that strand of yarn that's in between the two bumps, then you would be picking up every row, but we want to pick up every other row. That's why you're just going, so you're skipping one row and going into the next. So going into every bump means doing every other row. So when you're done, make sure you count that you do in fact have the right number of stitches. In case you miss some, make sure it's always, it doesn't hurt to count twice. And when you're done, then you're going to start knitting in the round. So here our cable is quite long. So here you can either use a shorter cable. If you don't have that option, that's no problem at all. You will see how you can use a longer needle even on a smaller circumference. So in this case, basically what you do, you push your stitches to the edge of your left needle, and then you pull the cable out on the right needle, and you connect your first round, and you can just leave that extra cable just sitting there. You're not really using it. You can just ignore it and just keep moving stitches along as you're knitting. It's just regular knit stitch. You're going in the round. It's basically like knitting a beanie. Okay, so here you see, so the cable is again quite long, so you just pull it out like so and have the excess cable on the right needle. And again, same thing, you just ignore that extra cable length and then just keep going in the round. And just keep pushing the stitches along as you go. And depending on the pattern, check to see how many rounds you need to do. So we finished the first round. Now we're getting started on the second. So you see that strand in the middle there? If you count the number of strands, that will tell you how many rows you've done. So you just saw the one strand, so it means you just finished your first round. And when you finish your second one, you'll see that there are 2 strands. So keep pulling the cable out and just keep knitting